Hello, welcome in everybody to the Teamfight Tactics Beginner's Guide tutorial on PC. I ultimately ended up deciding to do this as a stream rather than a video because I mainly do streams, and hopefully the VOD will serve as basically the video version of this. As you can see, we've got screenshots rather than actually interacting with the thing. This is all edited to illustrate things, so it'll have big red boxes over everything, blah, blah, blah. This guide has purposely been formatted to give information that should be useful in any Teamfight Tactics set. So, hopefully, a little bit timeless. Here we're going to go over the basics of Teamfight Tactics, its interface, how to play. The basics of Teamfight Tactics are the team planner, joining a game, the elements within an active game, like that sort of stuff. The images literally are just to help your understanding. Bunches of information have been edited out because I do not want you focusing on the specifics. The specifics for the basics do not matter. We're going to go over the things that matter for understanding how to play. So none of the specifics just yet. What is Teamfight Tactics? Teamfight Tactics is an auto battler. The gameplay revolves around recruiting units, referred to as champions from League of Legends originally, that form good synergies and placing them on a tiled board. It's a hexagon tiled board during a timed strategic phase. So you'll have a timed strategy phase where you put the units on the board. The units automatically battle enemy units when they're on this board during combat rounds. So you don't have to put in any controls to tell them to fight or how to fight or any of that stuff. You're just putting the units on the board and they do the rest. Often, the appearance of the units can indicate what units go well together. I do have notes for all of this, but yeah. So, say there's like a bunch of blue units, a bunch of green units, a bunch of orange units. Chances are the same sort of like colors or the same sort of look will, generally speaking, more often than not, go well together. This isn't always the case, but more often than not, 9 times out of 10, generally lines up pretty well. Units in this game, they originate from League of Legends. So if you've played League of Legends before, watched Arcane, seen anything to do with League of Legends, you might recognize some of the champions. Each champion generally has 1, 2, or 3 traits. Traits can offer a variety of different perks. The best way to find out more about champions and traits is to explore the team planner. So I've highlighted the little button with the little red box down here so that you can see which button to press to find the team planner. It's supposed to be like the outline of a pengu, like a penguin character that they often use for Teamfight Tactics as like the mascot. But sometimes it kind of is a bit small and hard to see. So, hang on a minute. My controls aren't working. Why are my controls not working? There we go. There we go. That ba-deep was me. Alright. And we'll just zoom in a little bit. Alrighty. So, the team planner. Here is the team planner. All the actual champions have been erased from this picture. We've put in little example ones because, again, the specifics do not matter right now. This is just to teach you the basic concepts of how the game works. The team planner can be accessed at any time pressing the little round button next to the like play button that you saw before at the like bottom of the launcher. It can also be accessed in game. We'll show you where to access that much later. We'll go through everything else first. But this team planner will show you a list of champions on the left hand side. You left click the champions to add them to the team planner, like they'll appear on the right hand side. The gold cost of a champion will be shown at the top of the section they're in. So in this image, you can see there's like a little one at the top on the left-hand side underneath the word filter, and it's got like a little symbol. That symbol's for the gold. That's to indicate how much the champions underneath that cost. So they all cost 1 gold. The gold cost of a champion ranges from 1 to 5 gold mostly. Very, very occasionally, there will be a 7 cost champion. Most of the time, this isn't the case. 9 times out of 10, it will be 1 to 5 gold. The specifics on all of this do change, but generally it's 1 to 5 gold champion costs, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 gold. Whenever you add a champion to your team, like so, by left-clicking them on the left-hand side in the champions list, they will appear on the right-hand side. Now, you can hover over the icons in the middle, like when you add a champion to the team, you can see the traits the champion that you added has in the center column here, like all these little hexagons down the middle. That's where the traits of the champions will appear that you've added to your team. And you can hover over those with your mouse pointer to get more information on those traits that are displayed. Now, when you add multiple champions that have the same trait, in this image it's trait number 1, it will display a color underneath the number, or like underneath the icon, to show that it's active and how strong the trait is. So in this image, it's a bronze color. Trait icon colors range from bronze, silver, gold to prismatic. Each trait has different requirements to reach each strength. So it's always different for every trait. You will see some patterns as you play Teamfight Tactics. You'll start to recognize some patterns in how things are formatted. But if you ever need more information on any traits, you can go to the team planner, put a champion in, and hover over this middle bit with all the traits listed to find out more information. Now, when you create a new team, put a bunch of champions in the team planner, you can rename that team using the little circle icon next to the new team, like where it says new team. It's to the left of it. It's supposed to like look like a pencil or a pen writing something down. Now, by pressing the back button to the left of where it says Team Planner, you can see a full list of all of the team plans you have ever made. You can create a bunch of different teams in the Team Planner for a wide variety of possibilities. Champions in this view will have colored borders that indicate the amount of in-game gold that they cost to acquire. Gray is 1 gold, green is 2 gold, blue is 3 gold, purple is 4 gold, yellow is 5 gold. This colored indication of cost is also in other UI elements. So if you are colorblind, do not worry, there is also other clearly visible markers of cost in game where it is most important. It's just a visual element that's like extra to help with game clarity for those of us who are not colorblind. But we will go over that later when we get to the in-game shop. Now on to playing the actual game. How do you get into a game? You can do this by pressing the play button on the top left-hand side of the League launcher. You can technically also do it through the play button on the TFT tab in the bottom right-hand side. That will automatically default to whatever game mode you played last. I don't know what it defaults to for people that have not played a game of Teamfight Tactics yet. So I would recommend using the top left-hand side, the big play button. Makes things a little bit easier. If this is your very first time playing, I highly recommend trying Tokka's Trials if that game mode is available. It's a very good way to learn things. You can take your time. There's no timers in this mode. Every other mode so far has timers in it. So there is that having to read everything quickly element. But in Tokka's Trials, you can take as much time as you need to read everything and figure out UI elements. So I highly recommend playing Tokka's Trials if this is your first time playing TFT. Otherwise, just start with a normal game if that's not available. When you have created a lobby, you can invite your friends. Change visual elements that you will use in game as well. Wait, that sentence was messy. You can invite your friends or change visual elements that you would use in game. Inviting your friends is fairly easy. There's many different ways to do this. There are a bunch of plus icons that are in these squares that indicate empty lobby spaces. You can click one of them. There's an invite button in the top right hand side next to a little toggle thing that's to make it invite only or anyone in your friends list can play. Or you can go to your friends list on the far right hand side, find the friend that you want to invite, right click on them, and from the right click menu, invite to game. So that should be on screen here with little red boxes around everything. In order to change things like the visual elements that you will see in game, you can press a circle button that is underneath your name in the middle of the screen. It'll have 4 little arrows pointing outwards to indicate that it expands. When you do that, you will see all of the visual elements that you can change in game. There are 4 elements that you can customize as of 2026. Your character, called a tactician, also known as little legends or chibis. You play on an arena, though I tend to call it a battle board, just to make things a bit easier. These arenas come in all different shapes and sizes. They'll always be square because the UI elements have to remain the same across all of the different visual customizations, but they can look wildly different in all different colors and whatnot. There are portals, which when you travel from one arena to another arena, a portal will appear, and your little legend or your tactician or your chibi, however you want to call it, will jump through the portal to get from one arena to another. And the booms are what are displayed when you defeat another player in combat. As you deal damage to the defeated player, that boom will play. It's like a little animation that goes from your tactician to the enemy tactician that you've defeated in combat. Alrighty, let's actually get into the in-game experience. I have basically drawn over the in-game, like how it generally looks, to account for various different customizations. Like, it's never going to look the same. These are all the important bits, though. I've taken out specific mechanics that are unnecessary to know for the basics, so hopefully that's not too confusing. So let's get into the in-game experience. When you get into game, you'll quickly see all of the other players before entering a portal, one of those things we mentioned earlier that you jump into when you're going from point A to point B, because you're not on like a map that's constant. You can't just walk there. They're like floating islands. So you'll jump in a portal. It'll do it automatically. Like, you don't have to physically go to the portal. It'll drag you through the portal automatically. So you don't have to worry about not making it in time or any of that sort of stuff. So you'll quickly see all of the other players in a game, and then you'll be pulled through the portal to your arena. at the very beginning of a game. You will be given one champion to start fighting NPC units. After this initial battle, the shop will appear, and your game should look a little bit like this. There should be the battle board where champions fight in the center. There'll be a bench where champions are stored down the bottom but above the shop. There'll be a shop down the bottom of the screen that will have several different elements that we will go over later, but the most important one showing your player gold, your level, percentage chance of each cost in the shop, lock unlock button. To the left we have items and traits. Up the top we have the battle information. This is things like the stage and round and timer. We will go over this very shortly. The team planner and settings button in the top right hand side. There's two separate buttons for those. And player health bars and combat information on the right hand side. And right hand side down the bottom is a little mini map. Now, don't worry, we will go over each of these elements in detail and explain everything about them. So bear with me. But this is generally kind of what your screen should look like when you get into a game. Gameplay is divided into stages and rounds. So we're going to talk about the battle information bar at the top of the screen, highlighted in white here now. Now, stages are made up of several rounds. Rounds are mostly player or NPC combat. Occasionally, there's other events. Each round has a timer displayed on the right-hand side of the battle tracker. To find out more information on what to expect in coming rounds, you can hover your mouse pointer over the battle tracker at the top center of the game screen. So if you're unsure what's coming up, just move your mouse up there, hover over the different icons. It should give you more information. The timer is something that you should pay some attention to. It is quite important. It is not important in Tokka's Trials. If you're playing Tokka's Trials as your first game mode, don't worry too much about it. It's only important when you're actually playing against other players, not against NPCs. There are a variety of different icons representing different events. The icons that I've put up here are the main ones that you will see. The icons displayed in this graphic are after the stage round text from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. A super easy NPC combat, augment choice, we'll come back to that later, player versus player combat, carousel, we'll also come back to that later, easy NPC combat, but it's different enemies, and then, and then medium NPC combat with different enemies, and hard NPC combat, or something to that effect. It's basically from easiest to hardest icons there. Augments give your team a buff through various different options. It's kind of hard to describe the options because they do change every game, and they do change quite regularly with the different sets, as they're called. By the way, a Teamfight Tactics set, you might hear me refer to this, is generally it goes for a period of several weeks, months almost, 2+ months. I forget the exact amount of time, but it's one set of augments, traits, every element in the game, champions, we've talked about champions before, all of that, it will change every few months. So there will be different traits and different champions and different, sometimes items in combat. But generally speaking, we're not going into specifics. This is why this TFT Basics is formatted the way it is, because things change in this game often. These specific elements tend to stay pretty much the same for the most part. So that's why I'm telling you about these specific elements. Right. Augments are very difficult to describe, but they give your team various different perks or buffs through various different options. It's something that is best to be experienced. But that's what that little like second icon from the left with it where it kind of looks like two cards, that's what that one is. And then the like kind of round spiky star thing is the symbol for carousel. It's the fourth one from the left. And carousel is where players run into champions that are walking in a circle. You kind of like run into the champion that you want to claim them. Players with the least amount of health generally get to run towards these champions that are walking in a circle first. So there is some benefit for doing poorly, let's say. It's not always the best decision to lose a lot of health, but sometimes it can be beneficial. Winning combats will grant you 1 gold. I do want to point that out. Losing doesn't grant you 1 gold, but winning combats will grant you 1 gold. Alrighty. I think that's everything at the top of the screen. Yeah, that is. We've gone over the different combats and stuff. So, in order to actually place battle, champions on your battle board, you will need to know what the battle board is. So this is where this area highlighted in white is where you will place champions in order to fight enemies. You can place champions on the board by left clicking and dragging them onto a highlighted hexagon. The hexagons will light up to show where you can place them. The first thing you will need to do, though, in order to place champions on the battle board, is to be able to acquire champions, which is generally done through the shop interface. So this area at the bottom of the screen is the shop interface. Champions in the shop will refresh automatically each round, at the start of each round specifically. There is a lock icon in the far upper right of the shop interface, and clicking it once will lock the shop, and if you hover over it, it will tell you whether or not the shop is locked or unlocked. If you lock the shop, it will prevent the champions in the shop from refreshing, so they will stay the same for another round if it is locked. The amount of gold you have is displayed in the top center of the shop interface. You can hover over that area to find out the ways that you can earn gold and how much gold you can earn in total. Gold is used to buy champions, buy experience, and to re-roll the shop to display new champions you can buy. Hovering over the Buy XP button will show you more information on how much gold you need to level up. Your current level is displayed above the Buy XP button. Champions generally cost 1 to 5 gold, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold. The cost of a champion will always remain the same for the same champion. So if you buy a champion for 1 gold, you will always find that a champion will cost 1 gold no matter what. No matter what game you're playing, that whole time until all of the champions changed in a new set, that champion will cost that same amount, no matter what. Like, they don't change in cost. It is champion A will always cost 1 gold, champion B will always cost 2 gold, so on and so forth. Like, whatever that champion costs, it will always cost that amount, no matter what. Buying 3 copies of the same champion will upgrade the champion. They will merge together to make a stronger version of that champion. Now you can do this 3 times, so buying 9 copies of the same champion will fully upgrade the champion, making them significantly stronger. So that's, you buy 3, they merge together, you buy another 3, they merge together, you buy another 3, and all of them merge together into one big strong one. This is called starring up a unit. When you get 3, that's starring it up to a 2-star. Just buying the 1 champion is a 1-star. Buying 3 and seeing them all merge together is 2 stars. Buying 9 of the same champion and watching them all merge together is 3 stars. Hopefully that's not too confusing. You can sell champions by left clicking and dragging them to the shop interface. So if you accidentally buy something that you didn't want, it's not too much of a big deal. You can always sell it. Champion costs also have color coding on the borders of the champion cards in the shop, illustrated here in this highlighted area, and the colored glow beneath champions on carousel, where all of the champions walk in a big circle and you run towards them to claim them. All right, what else? Let's see. The color code is gray for 1 cost, green for 2 cost, blue for 3 cost, purple for 4 cost, and yellow for 5 cost. The higher cost the champions are, generally they're stronger if they cost more. Chances for each champion cost appearing in the shop is displayed on the upper left next to the experience portion, like near where it shows your level. The percentage chance goes up with your level, like for higher cost champions. So like the percentage chance for higher cost champions appearing in your shop increases with your player level. The percentage chances are also displayed with shapes as well as colors, and from left to right are 1 cost to 5 cost. So it's circles for 1 and 2 cost, triangle for 3 cost, diamond for 4 cost, and a pentagon for 5 cost, which I had trouble drawing, so pretend that is a pentagon. Thank you. So along with the color coding, it also has the percentage chances with the little shapes next to them, and the cost of the champion is also displayed on the card, at the bottom of the card. It's very, very visible, along with the champion name and the portrait. So, if you're a bit colorblind, do not worry. It is very visible and easy to read. When you buy a champion, it is automatically added to your bench, which is this highlighted area, also near the bottom of the screen. This little row below the battle board and just above the shop. You can arrange your bench by dragging champions to new positions. There are 9 slots available to store champions to tuck them away when they're not on the field. But, what else? Oh, yes. Remember, 3 of the same champion will combine into a stronger version of that champion. Even if you already have a stronger version of that champion on the board, you need 3 of these 2-star champions to combine to fully, be the strongest version. So you can store champions that you are trying to make stronger on this bench. This storage for champions area that are not on your battle board. One copy of a champion is 1 star, 3 copies combined to make 2 stars, 9 copies of a champion combined to make 3 stars. So that's 3 2-star copies combined. Hopefully I'm describing that in a way that makes sense to you. That makes sense to me, but I've also played a lot of TFT, so... Alrighty, so you might be wondering, how do you find out more about these champions? Right-clicking on a champion on the bench or battle board, either your bench or battle board, or an enemy's bench or battle board, will bring up detailed information on the right hand side. This is champion information panel. The most important information you need to know is the champion range measured in hexagons, as the board is in fact divided into hexagons, so you can place them in an optimal position. By hovering over the role section, you can also easily find recommended items and how to make them. So on the right hand side, when you right click on a champion that is on the battle board or the bench, it will show a bunch of information. If you want to know more about anything in this panel, you can hover your mouse pointer over basically any of these aspects and it will show you more information, more detailed information. It'll tell you like either the items that are best for that champion and how to make them, as I said earlier, or it'll tell you like how much health they have or whatever it may be. I highly recommend just going into a game, hovering over everything, to be quite honest, is very good advice. Anyways, on the left, there is an item bench. This is where items go to be stored when they are not on your champions. You can get items from NPC battle rounds. So any NPC battle round has the chance of dropping champions, gold, items, and some other things that are a lot rarer, so we won't go over them just yet. It can expand if required. So if you fill up all of these squares, because the items use square icons, if you fill all of those up with items, it will expand to show a second row, which you can also fill up with more items if you so choose. You can combine 2 items together to make a full item. Once you've done that, though, that item is like permanently that item, that combined item. Like you can't uncombine them in most cases. There are exceptions to this rule, but generally you can't easily uncombine them. You can right click an item to see what it can combine into, and you can hover over things to like find out what those items do. You can also get an item called Magnetic Remover, which allows you to remove items off of champions and return the items to your item bench. Currently, as of 2026, magnetic removers are given regularly at NPC battle rounds. So you can put items on champions, and if you decide that maybe you regret putting that item on that champion, you can move them around with relative ease. There is a limited number of magnetic removers given out as of 2026, but generally speaking, you get enough to be able to move them around if you make a few mistakes, so don't worry too much about that. You can combine items on your item bench to make a full item, or on a champion. I recommend doing this on your item bench rather than on a champion, and I recommend putting items on champions if you're going to do that during the strategic planning phase, not mid auto battle, because it is very easy to put items on the wrong champions when they are battling specifically. All right. In order to combine items into a full item on your item bench, you can left click and drag one item on top of another and then hold it in place and wait until there should be like a little bar that slowly fills up to indicate when it will combine. And if you let it go, like let your left click go while it's hovering one item over another and that bar is completely full, it will combine those 2 items. If you decide you don't want to combine them, you can just drag that item away from the item you're trying to combine it with, and it should completely reset that combination bar, and you can put it back on your item bench wherever it was very easily. think that's the most important things about the item bench. So next we will move on to the trait tracker. Trait tracker is where all of the traits will appear from units, like champions that are on your battle board. If there are champions on your battle board, you should see a bunch of traits next to the item bench. You can hover over these traits to find out more information about them, just as you could in the team planner. If there is a bunch of traits, like lots and lots and lots of traits, a little arrow will appear at the bottom of the trait tracker with like a plus, and then it'll have the number of how many extra traits. You can, I think, left click on that, yeah, to see the traits that are not displayed at the top of the list. Your active traits will be displayed at the very top above everything else. Yeah, okay, so that is the trait tracker. These traits, remember, they give perks to your team members that are on the battle board. Sometimes it is specific team members, sometimes it is the entire team, regardless of whether or not they share that trait. So be sure to hover over these traits and read them carefully. Thank you. Right, you can see how much damage your team has done, or how much damage has been mitigated, or healing and shielding by pressing the crossed swords icon on the top right hand side of the right hand panel. And you can also see how much damage or damage mitigated or healing and shielding the enemy team did in your last battle by pressing the little tab on the left hand side of that damage panel. It will expand to show the enemy team's damage or damage mitigated or healing and shielding. The way to toggle between seeing damage dealt, damage mitigated, and healing and shielding is there's 3 little icons at the bottom of this damage panel. From left to right, it is damage dealt, damage mitigated, healing, and shielding. So depending on which one of those icons you press, depends on which one of those things will be displayed. All right, so we're going to return to the team planner. You can access the team planner at the top right-hand side of your screen. It is next to the settings icon. It is the first of the 2 icons, left to right, that are nestled together at the top right-hand side. You can access the team planner at any time in game. You just got to left click the left-hand icon out of those 2 paired together on the top right-hand side. I just said that. You can toggle team plans on or off. The round icon on the right with a like glowing green indicates that team plan is on, and the round icon on the left with a no green glowing behind it indicates that specific team plan is off. You can only have one team plan active at any time, and when there's a champion in your active team plan that appears in the shop, it will display in the shop with a little ribbon on the top left corner. So you know that is in your team planner. It's at the top left hand of the champion card. It's highlighted in white. Hopefully you can see it. I should have probably mentioned that the settings icon is the top right hand side, but gotta leave you to suffer somehow. You gotta figure something out on your own. Hope this little tutorial basics of TFT has been useful, especially to people who have never seen anyone play TFT before. Maybe a friend invited you to play and it was overwhelming. Hope it offers a little bit of guidance. Maybe there were things that surprised you that you thought you knew how all of the UI worked, and then, oh, somebody's just told you that you can right click on champions. Because, let's face it, people don't often think to right click on things. So, yes, remember to right click on champions for more information. Hover over everything. Don't be afraid to lose and just like click a bunch of buttons and see what happens. It's not the end of the world losing a few in a row. We've all done it when we first started playing TFT. So I really hope that this was useful in some regard to you, or maybe to somebody you know that you want to get into TFT. Remember, all of the specifics of Teamfight Tactics change on a regular basis. The champions change regularly. The traits change regularly. Sometimes the items and how they work also change. So these changes, these very significant changes, happen every few months. But the mechanics of how to play TFT at its core do not change. A lot of these factors, pretty much all the ones that I've told you today, will stay the same. They might add some quality of life stuff. They have done that in the past. So maybe this will end up being a little bit outdated by the end of the year. Let's hope. Let's hope they add an actually good tutorial on PC, because so far, I will like to let it be known, there is a tutorial on the mobile version of Teamfight Tactics. I personally don't think it's the best, but it is better than nothing. Good luck, tacticians! And here, we're gonna actually play a game of Tokka's Trials and try talk about some of the stuff that we were talking about earlier. So because I last played Tokka's Trials, when I go here, it tells you which game mode it's sending you into when you click this play button right here. So that's one way to do it. Or ignore that. Or you can press the play button up here and guarantee you're going to play the game mode that you want to play. I recommend doing it this way, especially for your first few times, just so that you have that peace of mind. Now, Tokka's Trials is NPCs. It's all NPCs. There's no timers. You can take your time to buy all of the champions and hover over everything. So you don't need to worry about, oh, the timer's going down really quickly. This bar at the top that's highlighted in blue, that is normally the timer indicator. It will start going down from left to right. When it reaches the end of this blue buff, it often will, it sometimes will go into overtime, unless it's already in overtime. And it'll go down super speedy a second time. Alright, let's show you how the team planner works. We have a bunch of different champions in this team planner already. And I'll show you how to make a new one. So if you already made one and you only have, say, you're new to the game, so you only have one, and you're like, I like this, but I want to make a new one. You press the back button on the top left-hand side, and you can press either new, which makes it a completely new team, or you can press the snapshot button, which will put all of the champions you have out on your battle board into the team planner, which is very important. These here, like on the left-hand side, are where your traits will appear. This set has Arcanist, Longshot, Void. Again, hover over everything to find out what it means. This here is the champion information window that I was talking about earlier. 5 hexes. When you hover over the range button, it will show you how far away they can attack something from their current position on the board. So say I move him over here, and I do that same thing, you can see that he can attack a lot more hexes than he could before. So stuff like that can be really useful. It gives you a quick guide as to where this champion is best positioned at a glance. So if you're just wanting to do things really quickly, you can see that really quickly. This is this specific champion's ability. Each champion has a different ability. Say for this one here, completely different ability. Still shows the best places to position this champion in this champion's range. Hovering over this section here with the bar where it says magic caster or magic tank, it will show you which items are good for this champion in general. You can play around with items. Sometimes items that do not show up in this recommended area can be fun to try on different characters. But also it is a bit more risky if you're making items that are not from the suggested area, if you don't really know what you're doing, if you're still trying to get familiar with how everything works. Probably best to go for recommended items, but sometimes it can be fun to go for something completely different. I'm going to sell that one. You can sell characters by just dragging them, left click, dragging them to the shop. Generally a 1-star unit, which is just when you buy a single unit, will sell for the exact amount you bought it for. So you don't need to worry too much about losing gold if you accidentally buy something that you didn't mean to. These don't show information when you hover over them. I'm kind of surprised. Alright, we're going to make them fight now. Shows that we have combat against a bunch of unknown characters. I'm surprised this doesn't tell you this is an augment round. This little card symbol up the top is an augment. It will change how our team, it will give it a perk, or it will give something to improve our team in some way. So, yeah, I'm surprised it doesn't show that. Let's do a little reroll. In this game mode, you get 3 rerolls. This is uncommon in actual Teamfight Tactics, playing 7 other people gameplay. It is rare that you get 3 rerolls. Normally you get gold, items, champions from NPC rounds. Not often you get rerolls. In this game mode specifically against NPCs, some things are slightly different. But again, it has no timer. It is very good for just learning how to play the game. Oh, how convenient. Okay, so you see how I bought another Lulu? Like this character here, we had 2 of them sitting on the bench. 1, 2, and then we bought the 3rd one. And now it has 2 stars instead of 1 star. You might see this with this character Rumble that's already on the battle board here. I do feel like in some ways a lot of this stuff seems very obvious to seasoned players that have been playing a long time, or very intuitive to people who have played specifically PC computer games, similar sort of style. Even PC games in general, some of these controls might seem obvious. I also know that Teamfight Tactics is a mobile game. There will be people that are coming over from mobile that might not really know how computer interfaces are. Like, they might not have played many computer games, so hopefully this is helpful for them. Right, so just then we picked up a little grey ball that was on the ground, and we got some items out of it. We got this tiny champion duplicator, which only duplicates 1-cost champions, so that is these grey ones. You see how this banner is grey and it says 1? This banner is grey and it says 3 because it's a 2-star. There's 3 of this champion that have been bundled into a stronger version of this champion. We also got 3 free rerolls and a component anvil. Now, component anvils are something that I forgot to mention earlier. Right click it, it will show you drag this into the shop to see a bunch of different components of items. So we'll do that. And there's normally only 30 seconds that you will get to choose. But again, Tokka's Trials has no timers. You can take the time you need to hover over these items and have a look at what they do. It doesn't give much information, granted, but you see how there's like plus 10%, plus 150, and it has little symbols next to it? Let's take this one for now. These symbols, if you see here, are the same symbols on this character information panel. And if you hover over them, they tell you more about what they do. So this is basic attack damage. This is attack damage. This is ability power. This is armor. This is magic resist. This is attack speed. Critical strike chance. Critical strike damage. Omnivamp. Damage amp. And durability. So ability power is a little misleading, because not all of these like abilities that you see here underneath the health and mana or next to the range, not all of these use ability power, but it will have in brackets the symbol of the thing that it uses. Like this one here is a good example. You see the little shield symbol? It's kind of like a brown color. That indicates that scales off of armor, whereas that little comet looking thing that's going up from the left to the right is ability power. So some abilities do scale off of ability power, but not all. A good example should be this. Right. If you look down the bottom, it shows you exactly how much of each icon is contributing to this character's ability damage. So it is mainly attack damage. See this little symbol and this little... Oh, I can't move over to it. This little symbol are like the same. And then it has the ability power icon as well, but that's like a small amount of the number. As you can see down the bottom where it says damage, it has like 135 versus 15. So a bigger number, that's the one that it scales the best with, generally speaking. Oh, hang on a minute. Why is Cogmore there? Right. Let's go to a team plan that I have already set up, shall we? We turn this one off by just left-clicking it. You can left-click it again to turn it back on. On the left-hand side with the grey means it's off. Again, right-hand side with the green means it's on. And we will turn this one on, which is Yordle's, and it has all of these traits. Now, these ones that have the bronze or gold color are active. These ones that do not have any of that bronze or gold or silver or prismatic color, they are inactive. These traits, they are basically like not there. They contribute nothing. They're doing nothing at the moment. I hope that's clear. Oh, okay, so you see how we have two of this character. 1 star, 1 cost, 1 cost. Yeah. We can buy a third one, and they all whoop, go together into a bigger one. This one here can only be used on 1 cost champions. I'll show you in a minute, but it won't let me use it on this character because this character costs 2 gold. And in every single game, until all of the characters change, this character will always cost 2 gold. Now that's something that seasoned players might think is a bit obvious, but it's not. See? You can try to use it on a champion that costs more than 1 gold with this grey one, but it won't work. Whereas if I use it on this champion that costs 1 gold, you get a small version of that champion. So if you use one of those on a 2-star version, it will only give you the small version, not the 2-star version. It won't copy the 2-star version. Hopefully this is all clear. I'm trying to make this as in-depth as possible without making it difficult to understand. I'm trying not to use fanciful words. Alright, these are augments. The actual cards themselves probably will look different every set. I think they redo them. But generally, there's these cards. You have these buttons down the bottom that allow you to re-roll. Much like a shop re-roll. Except, generally speaking, if there's no number beside it, you only get 1 chance. So, for example, this one here, high voltage. I decide there's no way in hell that I would want that. I press the button, it gives me a new one. Next time these augments come around, doesn't matter if I've already used the reroll for this one, you get on a whole new set of rerolls. But I can't reroll this one again, because it doesn't have a number. It means there's only 1 time I can do this. So say, I don't like bodyguard training. Oh, well, that's another one. And I can't reroll that one again. I can only reroll it once if it doesn't have a number beside it. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Because I feel like that's a good idea. Alrighty. Now, I did mention that you could look at enemies' champions information as well. Like so. Right-clicking, you can right-click champions on the enemy side of the board, whether they're on the bench or on the battlefield, like the battle board. And you can hover over all of their stuff as well to see what each thing does. So if you see a champion with an item you've never seen before, you can right-click on that champion and you can go, oh, what's that item? Now, it can get a bit hectic in an actual game. It's very, very busy. But it is something you can do. Oh! Now we have 2-star Lulus. If we manage to get 3 more Lulus, she will become very, very strong. So, let's have a look. Do we... Oh! Alright. Now, that unlocking thing is a specific mechanic to this set. There are champions that require certain things, like certain prerequisites to unlock. I don't know if this is going to be something that comes back in the future. So I didn't put it in because I think it's specific to the set. It is a set mechanic specifically. But in this team planner, before you go into a game, or even in a game, you can see what is required for a specific champion. They'll have these little lock symbols when they're not unlocked, and then they'll have this sort of symbol for when you've already unlocked them. Locked champions do not appear in the shop, unlocked champions do. This mechanic is specific to the set. These characters, they are always in the shop. The ones that don't have this little lock symbol beside them are always in the shop. You don't need to do anything to unlock them. They're just there. But these characters with little locked symbols beside them, they have requirements. And you will not see them unless you meet those requirements. So just, I guess keep that in mind for the set, but I didn't really want to go over it during the main tutorial bit because it's not something that is necessary to play the game. And it's also not something that I think is coming back. They might bring it back in the future, but I kind of hope they don't. Like, it's been fun because they haven't done it before, but yeah, anyways. We've got our yodels, it's fine, don't worry about it. I just wanted to quickly go over that if that was confusing you. If you are watching this after, I think it's February of 2026 that this set ends, it probably doesn't matter. It's only relevant for this small period of time, specifically. Oh, I lost a battle. Now, normally, in a real game, you have 100 HP, and the amount of damage you take is based on the amount of enemy champions that are alive and the stage and round that you are on specifically. However, this is Tokka's Trials. There's no time limits on anything. It's just you lose 3 rounds, it's game over. You can take as much time as you need to read everything. So that is one major difference between this mode and an actual game. So we'll do a little cheeky reroll. Now I will say, we're close to, we need 2 more Lulus and then she becomes one big Lulu. I will say, with any amount, like 2 cost or 3 cost or 4 cost or 5 cost, like anything other than 1 cost, you will see a bard that is 3 2-cost bards, all combined together, will only sell for 5 gold. Like if I try sell him, he'll only sell for 5 gold, not 6 gold. Now, I'm pretty sure it's just 1 gold less. So, like 3-cost champion, you get 3 costs. You would instinctively think that that would sell for 9 gold. It would not. It would sell for 8 gold. So you're losing like a gold, maybe at most. But the higher the cost of the champion, the better it generally is. So that is something to keep in the back of your mind. I think we might lose this one too. Now, you might wonder, why did I just put that item on Lulu? Specifically for this. For this specific set to unlock specific champions. Unfortunately, I think I'm losing this one as well. Yeah, I am. I'm not doing very well. Admittedly, that is pretty common with me. I didn't say I was good at the game. I just know the UI and interface very well. Alrighty. You see this? You see how it has 3 stars? It's got this glowing border. We've already had 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's 6 right there. 7, 8. This is the 9th rumble. This is the 9th one of this character that we're buying. And then they all merge together to become a 3-star version of that character. I think that's quite important to visualize. I think we might be dead here. But yes, this is the team planner button in the top right hand side. All combat rounds against NPCs. This is how much... Oh wow, I just realized the combat, like, information damage dealt panel is not been tested with this game mode specifically. So underneath where that score is appearing, in a normal game it would say damage dealt. Then you can, that's damage mitigated, that's healing, shielding. And you can see it doesn't actually show the enemy team that we faced last time, so... Okay, so there's still some bugs with this game mode. Good to know. Did not know that. Oh, you see this? You see this not purple, gray little question mark orb? If you see one of them on your battle board on your arena, run towards it, it will give you stuff. It will give you things. Alright. You know what? I'm gonna sell them. I'm gonna sell them. I've decided we don't need them. I'm gonna sell them. You reckon this will be okay? I don't know. Maybe we'll lose here. Maybe I should have leveled up. I've put 4 gold into that. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I did particularly badly. Partly because I was just, I mean, I generally am very, either doing very well or doing very poorly at this game. I'll take you into a normal game. So that is Topper's Trials. There are no timers. You can take as much time as you need to click on everything, right click and drag, hover over stuff to figure out how the game actually works. Highly recommend that. However, remember, in a normal game, this is where you change all of the pretty things. As a new player, you won't have all of these sorts of things, but this is where you do change them when you eventually get some. Because you will get some for free in the battle pass. That, yes, you can also pay money to get the stuff that's not free, but there are free stuff. There's free stuff on the battle pass. You can get things for free, like a little Noxian sprite and stuff, so you might want to change it up every now and again. But yes, there is mechanics to drain your wallet as well, unfortunately, but also I do like the pretty things, so you know. I'm not mad at it. I do wish it didn't have gacha elements. This is basically like a gacha for the pretty stuff. It does not affect gameplay at all. It is purely visual. I need to make that abundantly clear. All of the pretty things are just pretty things, not gameplay affecting. And you can buy pretty things specifically with a set amount of money from the store without having to engage with the gacha elements at all. It might not be the best of the pretty things, but there are some very good ones in there. So, there are options. You don't have to engage with the gacha at all. Like, there's all of these options for your tactician or little legend. And they're all pretty good. I'm a little biased, though. I like a lot of them. I didn't really want to mention the store in the bulk of the tutorial section earlier. Like the for real money store, rather than just like the in-game shop. The for real money store is just not important to the core gameplay whatsoever. It is just pretty things and nothing else. Like, do not worry about it. Alright. These are all real people. All of these people are real people. This person with the Koi Dowsy is probably playing on mobile, ? Because when you have a PC League of Legends account through the League of Legends launcher, you have a profile picture. And that person did not have a profile picture. Alright, so this is what I mean when you see all of the other people in the game very quickly before you jump through a portal. Watch this, I'll walk away from it. Jump through a portal to your arena. And the shop doesn't appear until after the first combat. You will be given a champion to defeat the first lot of NPC creatures. I would say I promise I'm not normally this awkward, but actually that's a lie. Gold? Gold? Yes. Yeah. Some things are still messy. You can report bugs. There is a bug report feature I will possibly show you that at the end of this. To be honest, it's not the end of the world. You can see up here, if you hover over UI elements, you'll get more information. Like, actually, this time. It wasn't lying, I swear. You get more information. Alright. I'm selling champions by pulling them down. I don't think I want to lock the shop. Right-click champions. Okay, another thing I didn't mention. That's not cool gameplay, but that you can do. You can click on enemies' names on the sidebar here. You can right-click on their champions. You can hover over all of their stuff to see what's going on. You can see their items when you go visit them. So there's that. Very important. But you can also do this. Oh, this is the augments we were talking about. This is the augments. You know what? Gain one item combat. The item component. Right, a random component is what we're seeing right here on the left-hand side. You can see the timer up here is ticking down. I have 25 seconds to figure this shit out. I already know I'm probably going to take this one. Gain one random component. After each player combat, if there are no items on your bench, gain 2 XP, other than consumables. Now, if you pick something and you didn't fully read it, and you're like, dang, what did I pick? Right here. You can right-click on it, and you can look at exactly what it says. So, that's another thing you can do to figure out. You can also, if you look at the mini-map, you can see who's fighting who. And you can go, whoop, maybe I want to see... You don't know which character you're... Oh, it highlights which character you're looking at, which is nice. I didn't know it did that. I go back to my own board, can bounce around. I'm looking at this person's item bench. You can right-click, and it shows you all of the different items you can make. Maybe like all of the different items you can make here. So on and so forth. And you know what? It also shows the amount of champions you can put on the field with this little helmet looking thing, and it'll show you how many champions are on the field right here, and then how many you can put out on the field on the right hand side. So also very useful information. Oh, okay, so say I wanted to see what this person has on their item bench. I can click on their name, even though we're fighting each other. We could go, oh, they can make all of these items, and you can hover over them to see exactly what those items do. So you don't have to make items without knowing. Like this one here. I will be making this item, Rabadon's Death Cap. I like it. I also need it to unlock a character, but that's neither here nor there. You can also navigate during the planning phase pretty easily by clicking on the mini-map. And remember, it highlights with this little golden arrow who you are visiting. So whichever way works for you, there are also hotkeys. Customize hotkeys. Very useful. I have customized mine. They will be different by default because, you know. I just realized that I forgot to tell you that right-click to move. Yeah, so you right-click to move. I am sorry I did not put this earlier on in the piece. I don't think I'm editing this either. Like, I'm not going to edit this VOD into a smaller video because I'm lazy. Well, I said it now, I guess. I'm sure that's a little bad. Okay, yeah, that's a little bad of me. It's about to be, I'm sure it's not that big of a deal. And then I just realized, oh, right-clicking is very important, actually. Oh dear. I should have probably mentioned that. Well, we're here now. Don't worry about it. You see that the people on lower house managed to run towards these champions that were walking in a circle. And they're slowly released in order of how much health you have. Yeah.
I hope the hero likes me.
I hope you noticed that. Because I forgot about it. Ha 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 ha. Because I was not paying attention. Alright. Another thing I want to mention is each little legend, or each tactician, has a series of emotes that are accessible via your hotkeys. And I'm pretty sure it is... not those. Not those. Where are the hotkeys for emotes? Display. No. Communication. Right. This is where you find what your emotes are automatically hotbound to. There's a joke, there's a taunt, there's a dance, there's a laugh. And there is an emote wheel. Emote wheel being this. This is my emote wheel. Hello! Everybody say hello. Oh. Now, you notice on Carousel, they had glowing, like, underneath their character models as they were walking in a circle. And the one that was left over was glowing blue. And it was this character here, who was a 3-cost. And 3 costs, you see how this color around the border of this champion is blue. And for those who are colorblind, ignore that bit and look at the little triangle symbol above the top of the character card. So, hopefully, it's very obvious how much the characters cost. The only downside for if you're colorblind is carousels, because carousels do not display the gold cost at the bottom and the gold cost with the like triangle symbol or diamond symbol or hexagon symbol. It's just the color, unfortunately. But you know, everything else is pretty colorblind friendly, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. We're not losing. Right, so we had augment. That's what this little like card symbol was. We are now combat against, and then it'll like say an NPC name or whatever. It goes from earlier in the game, it's fairly easy. As the game goes further and further onwards, combat will get more difficult. And there will be different combat mechanics sometimes as well. So bear that in mind. I think that's important to remember. Alright. So you know how I was talking about how you can get more gold? Total possible income. When it says interest max 5, you'll see I'm at 43 gold. These little pebbly things, it'll be different depending on what board you have, indicate how much interest you're getting. Every 10 gold gives you +1 interest. And it'll, yeah. So this is generally what your board will probably look like. Each one of these little golden nuggets on the side indicates 10 gold. And you will get +1 for every 10 gold up to 5 gold. So if you're ever unsure about how you can get gold, hover over the gold section and it'll tell you. And I need 12 gold to reach level 6, but I'm not sacrificing my +4 gold for that. Again, we're gonna re-roll these augments. We're gonna get a bunch of 1-cost champions. And we got 1 cost from Rumble, which we wanted. Very nice. We just realized we want this one as well. We can sell all the rest. Wow. Yeah, stunning. I know. Alright, let's put things on people, even if it's not necessarily the best place to put them. Because this augment says if there are no items on my bench other than consumables, I gain XP. And I want to be gaining XP. Because if you notice, this bar down the bottom says 30%, 40%, 25%, 5%, 0%. That's percentage chance of different costs appearing in the shop. So right now, we have the best bet of finding 2 cost champions in the shop. Before, it was much lower. We had no chance of any 4 costs appearing at the shop. But now we do, which is nice. Alright, let me show you what a reroll is. When you reroll, it changes all of the champions in your shop. And if you reroll fast enough, you can screw yourself over by not realizing there's a champion you need in the shop. So try not to do it too quickly. Alright, enemies are visiting my board. We can right click on the enemies to see what everything does. And you can say right click on this half completed item, this partial item. And you can see all the things it can be made into. Very good. You can also do this with things that are on the bench, on the enemy's bench. It's very important to know this. Now, I am considering doing a general tactical guide, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Now that we've covered the basics. I want 4 gold. You see how there's these blue circles underneath these champions here? And that one had a grey one? These cost 3 gold. So when you sell them, they will give you 3 gold. This one here had a purple one, so it's 4 gold.
I hope the hero likes me.
And I just got 4 gold from that. Yup. And now we have an item that I actually want to put on this character. I'm gonna reroll. I do like rerolling. Righty ho. We now are getting places.
Not yet. I was never worried.
I'm awaiting patiently. What I really want is needlessly large rods. I don't think I'm gonna get them, but I can hope. Needlessly large rods are these pink things. They build into a bunch of strong ability power based items. And if I just hover over... Okay, this one takes mainly attack damage items, but you can see with the little comment in brackets that most of the characters that I have like ability power. So the more ability power items we have, the better. Like so. This one here, ability power. This one here, ability power and armor. This one here, ability power and damage. This one here, pure damage. Now, these frontline ones, these 1 hex wonders, as you can see, I hover over their range and it shows how far that they can attack. They are tanks. Attack tank, magic tank, magic tank. They are tanks, through and through. They want items to help them absorb damage. I am not gonna do that because I'm a big meanie. But you know, that's what they want. Now, normally, you will get 2 XP for free at the beginning of each round. But sometimes you will need to spend money to level up so you can defeat NPC combats or player combats or whatever. Now, you can spend lots of money of this and get better chances at getting more expensive champions. Or you can do what I'm doing at the moment and save all of your gold for that max interest of +5 and hope like how you get lucky and get champions you want. Which is kind of not working out for me, but you know. I will mention there is a limited champion pool. So there are a limited number of champions that everyone is buying from. So if other people are buying the same champions as you, you're not going to find them. You're going to have a very hard time leveling that up. It is going to be very difficult for you. There we go. I just realized that this probably doesn't count. Oh. Oh, I'm running out of space on my bench. Let's do a little... I'm running out of space on my bench. Bingo! Maximum monies. Yes, that is what we're aiming for. I just realized that I've put a spatula on the person I wanted to put the damage on. But that's fine. Maximum monies indeed. We are going to right click on everything. So when you are learning TFT, just right click on all of the different champions, have a look at them. Even if you're losing, you can find out more information about them all. It does feel like a lot of champions to get to know at first, but you will eventually learn them, and some of them will be very familiar after a while, and it'll start to make a bit more sense in the end. If multiple people are running Yordles and they have this thing where guaranteed Yordles, does that mean more Yordles are added to the game? Yes, actually. I'm not really touching on set specific mechanics because that makes it a little complicated. But yes, there is a limited pool of champions. So say I'm going for Champion A and Champion B and Champion F. And you're going for Champion A, Champion B, and Champion C. We're going to find it very difficult to find Champion A and Champion B to fully power them up and make them 3 stars, because there's a limited number of them. So depending on the cost of the champion depends on how limited they are. 1 cost and 2 cost, there's generally a lot of those. So you're probably not going to have too much problems unless lots of people are going for them. 3, 4, 5 cost champions are very limited in supply, and you're going to have a lot more trouble if multiple people are trying to buy the same champions that you are. Wow, we're getting stronger. Now, part of the reason we're getting stronger is because we're getting 3-star units, which are significantly stronger than 2-star units. However, in saying that, they're not so strong that, say, you have a 1-cost unit that's starred all the way up to 3-star. You've bought 9 of these 1-cost units, say. They're not going to be beating a 1-star 5-cost unit. Isn't the pool typically that you can make 1 gold and 2 silver of the 1 champ? I'm not sure about the specifics on that one. I've never bothered to look at the specifics of it because I'm not doing super competitive stuff. Might be true. The amount of champions available is generally a lot more of 1 and 2 cost than 3, 4, and 5 cost. Like, the higher the cost of the champion, the more limited the number available to buy is. If I recall correctly. I have not researched this. Everything else I am very aware of, but not this. And the item I need is gone. Instantly. Well, you know what? Screw it. In experience, I've noticed that's what it seems to be. Yeah. I have seen 2 3-star champions in one game. And it is very rare because it is very hard to find all of that. Alright, let's see. Slamming, yes, Earth. Attack speed and mana regen, which is good. You want that. Alright, so that little golden bag that appeared is due to this trait. It is a golden trait. And everything, like, the bit that's highlighted is in addition to everything that came before. So it's Yordles gain 40 health and 5% attack speed for each Yordle fielded. Each 3-star Yordle grants 100% more, so that's like double. And your first shop has a Yordle in it each round, and you get 1 free reroll each round. And these golden bags also drop each round. So that's why I'm receiving golden bags. You will probably not see this. Because chances are when you're playing TFT, it's probably after this point. But yes. I'm re-rolling. I don't need a re-roll, but I am. Alright. We're going places now. We're going places now, Sonny. What if Teamfight Tactics added a function or an item that makes it so you can guarantee a couple of champs will never show up in your shop, so that the total pool isn't as big? Do you think that would be a positive? The gameplay mechanics change each set. Each set is generally like a few months, I think, like 2 to 3 months. I forget exactly how long each set is. All of the champions change, all of the traits change. Different mechanics are put in place. So there will be something that is fundamentally game-changing put in place, generally speaking, each new set. What that will be, we don't know. They've come up with all sorts of different stuff so far. So there is a chance that something like that might happen. I would recommend looking at previous sets. We have had some very wild set mechanics. The fundamental, like, base gameplay has remained the same through all these years, which is why this stream is like a general basics tutorial, because the basics do remain the same, but other things could happen and change it in a very significant way that we've yet to see. So, that's happened before. Would not be surprised. Alright, so we got more items. More items for more item purposes. As long as we slam items, we will receive more XP. And I don't think we're getting terribly lucky, but that's fine. I do think it's interesting the changes that they have made to TFT. Like I said, you always have items, traits, champions. The battle board remains the same with the hexagon layout, bench, shop, player health, and battle statistics on the right hand side, battle tracker at the top. Team Planner was a fairly recent development in like the past year, question mark, maybe few. Team Planner and settings. Those things always just stay the same. This set is unlockable champions, so champions that only get added to your pool, like available champions in the store after you meet certain requirements, which is interesting. So there's that set mechanic, but in the past we've had specific champions will add a +1 to a trait, or like certain traits will be like gambling, basically, where you have to lose a bunch in a row in order to get like really strong items or unknown amounts of champions or other like really strong things. This particular set doesn't really have as much of the gambling side, which is I prefer. We've had sets where the sound design has been has played an integral part into how the game is played. Remix Rumble set 10, my favorite set ever, 10 out of 10. Best set in history for sure, as far as I'm concerned. We've had sets that units take, like there are certain units that take up 2 of the unit slots on your board. So say like this Poppy took up 2 units, that team would be 8 out of 8, even though there's only 7 units on the board. So we've had a wide variety. This current set, unlocking champions through very specific things, is a big change. It's a very strange thing. I don't know if they'll do it again. Augments were a big change. They didn't used to have augments, that these things here. They didn't used to have these until they made a change, one set, and everybody really enjoyed it, and they got a lot of positive feedback for it. Another thing they didn't used to have is these magnetic removers. Magnetic removers remove all of the items off of a champion, which sounds simple and easy enough, but surprisingly, it wasn't really done. Like, that wasn't really done until recently. Like, again, within the past year, question mark? I'm not really good with timescales, but that is a very recent development. For sure. So it's like you've got all of these little things that have changed, and sometimes quite big things. Like, augments were a massive change. At the start of the game, you now get pulled into encounters, which augment the game as well. I don't know how long that's going to be around for, because that's also a recent development. So it's like, I don't really want to include these things in the tutorial, but at the same time, maybe I should have, because these things are still around, and they're becoming a core part of gameplay. And in the future, I don't know what sort of changes they're going to make, because they've been making a lot of very different changes, and not all of them stick. There have been a lot of changes that they've been like, okay, that was only for that set. That was fun for one go round. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Sad remembering the days where carousel champs came to the board with the item attached to them, and now the item pops off of them. Yes, that is one thing. I didn't mention carousel champions holding items, because I didn't really want to get into that just yet. But yes, carousel champs, when you run into a champion, you're claiming that champion and the item goes onto your item bench, which I did not mention in the tutorial bit earlier, and I probably should have, but I didn't. So, well, whoopsie doodle. Thought of it now. If you're watching this far in, you're getting extra information. This is generally how gameplay looks like, and how games are played, and everything is done rather quickly due to the timer. This is why Talker's Trials is so useful for new players. Future streams for set specific changes. Honestly, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking of doing a general tactician's guide on how to navigate set changes, and generally like trait and augment tropes, for a lack of a better word, like general things that you see that is a possibility. But I really wanted to get this one out and about because there is no tutorial for Teamfight Tactics on PC. There is a tutorial for mobile, and it is better than nothing. But I do think the TFT on PC is not as intuitive as a lot of people would like to think it is. It's just not, unfortunately. And I say that because I've been seeing people try to play TFT for the first time. Because either like they see me play TFT or one of their friends plays TFT. And they want to give it a go. And I watch them play and they don't know that this Nico will always cost 2 gold. They don't know that. That's not something that's given to them. They don't know that you can right click on things and right click to move, which I completely forgot to put in the first section, right click to move. Oopsies. But like, they don't know these things. So I really wanted to get this basic tutorial out there. I wanted to play a game of Tokka's Trials, which I failed at miserably, but more to illustrate the point of there's no timers, no pressure. You can hover over everything, right click everything, left click everything, and figure out a lot of stuff in that mode quite nicely, which is nice. We like that. Ooh, we got a lesser champion duplicator. Lesser champion duplicators work only on 3 costs and below. So, yeah. Did you mention that bubbles can drop from NPC rounds? Yes. In the Tokka's Trials section, specifically. Yeah, there's a lot that I'm realizing I've kind of missed, but I think we got the bulk of it in the beginning section. Like, a lot of the things that I've missed can be figured out. How easily, I'm not sure, because again, I've been playing TFT for a long time, so all of this comes up very naturally to me. I tried to include as much as possible for things that might not be obvious. I will have a written version. Somebody will post that on Tumblr. Oh, and I'm dead. Wait, we came second. Wow. We came second, that's nice. Okay. But yes, that is generally how to play TFT, all of the basics. This is what the lobby looks like. Yes, there are pretty things you can buy. This is gacha, like random chance at getting this type shit. This is Battle Pass. A lot of people will be familiar with that concept. You do get free pretty things though. This is what the shop looks like. The gacha shop for when you've spent a bajillion on gacha. Things that you get from gacha also. That's like not the fancy stuff, but like the also quite good but not fancy stuff. And real money. This is all straight real money stuff. It's called Riot Points. It's this stuff here that costs an arm and a leg. So it's a little expensive, but at least it's not gacha. You can buy pretty things for straight money. Battle Pass, like from Fortnite. Yeah, honestly, very similar, except you actually get a lot of cool shit from it just by playing it. Hopefully, that is everything you need to know about Teamfight Tactics, going over the basics, in order to be able to play without feeling overwhelmed. Because that's the main thing, is like, yeah, you can go into a game blind, but like, it can be a little scary when there's like all of this stuff and these like panels, and do you left click or what? And I didn't even mention that you right click to move. I'm glad TFT uses a currency called RP. Riot points. Yeah, I will mention that the currency for TFT on PC and the currency for TFT on mobile is different. They use different currencies. Your account purchases do carry over. So if you buy something on one platform, it will carry over if you're using the same login information to the PC version because it's under the same account. However, if you're using Riot Points and you log into the mobile version, it's not going to appear because they don't use Riot Points. Vice versa, if you're coming from the mobile version to PC, your Teamfight Tactics points, whatever they're called, I forget what they're called, but it's a different currency, they will not appear on PC. So if you have any of these like premium currencies on desktop or mobile, you're going to have to use them on that platform that you have the premium currency on. Anyways, I think that pretty much covers everything. I hope this is useful to some people. Good luck. I hope I didn't confuse you too much with my umming and ahhing. That ba-deep was me. And I'm going to end it there. Take care, everyone. I'll see you when I see you. Or more accurately, you'll see me when you see me. Bye!